Imagine dropping millions of flies from the sky. But this time, it's not a nightmare. It's your livestock's best defense. Something unusual is unfolding across the southwestern border of the United States. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and its partners are preparing to breed billions of sterile male screwworm flies and release them from plains over southern Texas and parts of Mexico. Their mission is to stop a growing threat, the New World Screwworm, a flesh-eating larva that has been spreading across Central America and recently reached southern Mexico. The parasite has been advancing since 2023, raising serious concern for U.S. ranchers and the agricultural economy. For decades, the U.S. managed to nearly wipe out these dangerous insects using a science-based approach called the sterile insect technique. This method involves raising sterile male flies and releasing them to mate with wild females. The females then lay eggs that cannot hatch, causing the insect population to decline naturally. Now, as the screwworm spreads closer to the U.S. border, officials are counting on this same technique to stop it again. To meet the rising demand, the USDA is building a new fly factory at Moore Air Base in South Texas. This facility will cost about $8.5 million and is expected to produce up to 300 million sterile flies each week. It will work alongside existing operations in Panama and Mexico. The USDA is also investing $21 million to renovate an older fly production facility in southern Mexico to further increase capacity. So why is this such a big deal? New World screwworm larvae aren't like other flies that feed on dead animals. These larvae feed on living tissue. Female screwworm flies lay up to 300 eggs on open wounds of warm-blooded animals like cows, horses, and deer. When the eggs hatch within 12 to 24 hours, the maggots burrow deep into the animal's flesh, causing large, painful wounds. If untreated, the infestation can kill an animal within 1 to 2 weeks. Since 2023, over 35,000 infestations have been reported in Central America, most of them in cattle. To prevent the spread into the U.S., agricultural officials have shut down some border crossings for cattle, horses, and bison. Surveillance teams are closely monitoring for signs of screwworm in Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico. Ranchers have been advised to avoid activities like branding and tagging during the warmer months, which could create wounds and increase the risk of infection. Producing sterile flies is a complex process. Fly pupae are exposed to gamma radiation, damaging the DNA in male flies so they cannot reproduce. Once they mature, these sterile male flies are packed in temperature-controlled containers and released from plains over rural areas where screwworm outbreaks are likely to occur. The sterile flies target remote, livestock-rich regions, not cities or towns, since the screwworm doesn't affect urban environments. It's a costly operation. Lawmakers estimate that building and running the U.S. sterile fly facility could cost up to $300 million. But experts say the economic damage from a widespread screwworm outbreak could reach $10 billion or more. Ranchers argue the investment is worth it to protect their livestock and livelihoods. Ranchers like Stephen Diebel of the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association say it clearly. When you offset the $300 million to the $10 billion of economic impact these flies would have, it's an easy trade-off. Having a domestic fly factory in Texas will also allow faster, more efficient fly releases to stop the screwworm from crossing the border. Over the next year, the new fly distribution center in Texas will begin operations. If outbreaks occur, sterile flies will be released across rural parts of the Southwest and along the U.S.-Mexico border. In the meantime, the USDA is continuing to monitor livestock, wildlife, and border regions to prevent the pest from gaining a foothold. By using science and nature to fight this parasite, the U.S. hopes to stop the screwworm before it can cause serious harm. It's a creative, non-violent way to tackle a dangerous threat, using the flies themselves to stop their deadly spread.